On this episode of That Kingsville Podcast, we talk Highland Games, we talk Day of Champions, we talk Canada Day celebrations.
Agila Toastdoritos.
Toenails.
Toastdoritos.
Toastdoritos. Tostitos.
Hitting Frito-Lay.
Hostess.
Agila.
Agila Toronto. Did everyone hear Mayor Santos is leaving? I don't know. We talk about it. That and much more on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. Stay tuned. We'd like to thank Kingsville Brewery for supporting That Kingsville Podcast. Join them at the Beer Garden as we celebrate Canada Day weekend in style with live music. Beer Garden will be open from 11 a.m. until just before dusk, Thursday through Sunday. Friday from 5 to 9, Tim Cassidy. Saturday from 5 to 9, Don and Elvis. Probably not the Elvis.
Costello?
Good.
Stoico.
Is he taking up singing?
Gerback?
Elvis Gerback. Wow.
Touchdown.
There's a sports. Anyway. And Sunday, 1 to 5, Clinton Anderson. Also like to remind, pick up some merch at the Tap House or the Beer Garden. The classic K t-shirt, which is represented from their logo, back in stock. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery, for supporting That Kingsville Podcast.
I feel like some Hefeweizen.
I did. I had hef because it's summer weather. Nice cold hef.
Refreshing.
It is
Yeah.
absolutely refreshing. Welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Hunt. With me, Kevin Black and Steve Ianson. Happy summer, gentlemen.
Is it?
It is summer now.
Yeah, it's official.
Officially.
No, is it happy?
Happy.
Well, yeah, it's summer.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
let's be optimistic. It's just started.
Why, are you down on summer?
Down on you.
What?
I'm being grumpy.
I'm not grumpy.
You were arguing prior to going air.
Well,
Put me in a mood.
About what?
Everything.
well, you got to be a little bit more targeted.
No,
Like,
I'm kidding. We'll be fine.
oh, I missed something because I got late. I was here late. I was dealing with things. Anyway,
Things
Stuff.
happen.
stuff. Happy Canada Day, gentlemen.
Happy
You see
Canada
what
Day.
happens when you let Steve and I talk for longer than 5 minutes?
Yeah, we
without
need a
anyone else?
referee.
I'm your mediator, Dave. Yeah. Happy Canada Day. By the time this airs, all of the festivities that the town of Kingsville was putting on at the arena complex are taking place or have taken place.
Yeah, but before we go there,
Will?
can I start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've been on this and you know, what a job the town of Kingsville has done on Jasperson Lane.
Yes.
Garbage receptacles, benches. No, and I'm not.
I'm not being facetious
No,
either.
I'm not either. Like, this is like we've asked for this, and I don't even know if anyone even heard us, but
Nobody did.
if they hear this, great. Like,
Yeah.
well done, town of Kingsville. Everything looks beautiful. It's appreciated by more than just myself and Dave
Oh,
and Kevin, who probably no longer has that much refuse thrown at
Oh, no,
his
I
fence.
saw tons. It's mine.
That's where it
I
goes.
just threw mine over.
No, credit where credit's due.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very impressive performance. And we will talk maybe a little bit later about minor soccer day of champs, but really quickly too, the day ended, and as things are being packed up, there was a town of Kingsville employee right there to kind of come to minor soccer and say, okay, what needs to be done? What can I do? So
Perfect.
2 pats on the back for the town of Kingsville to kick things off tonight.
Bravo.
Oh, it's a great job.
However, there are some noxious weeds that need to be taken.
Oh, where?
Sandy Brook Bridge.
Ooh, yeah.
Sandy Brook Bridge. Anyway, I'm just,
not
being funny because of what our comments were.
Also not to nitpick, but there is like a black plastic tube leading straight from a power line pole, like through the grass median where they did construction on Jasperson, and then heading towards the Zayre's grocery store. That I nicely sent an email to Kingsville at KingsvilleWorks.ca as I was, or KingsvilleWorks at Kingsville.ca as I was directed to, and they created a ticket to, because I was kind of concerned. I'm like, hey, I cut grass here, and I really don't want to cut this if it's like a major power line.
We need you.
Well,
Zap.
and I'm hoping that they get back to me soon. That was like 3 weeks ago. I had emailed a couple times just saying, hey, just worrying about the status of ticket number such and such. And, maybe someday they'll acknowledge my email. It'll be cool.
If you're lucky. Anyway, we got garbage cans on Jasperson.
Which is
have
fantastic.
We can't have it all.
No, I know. Hey, well, maybe they're busy putting them out.
I know that we could use some on Division North as well, and that would be great. So if Squeaky Wheel gets some grease, Division North from
Isn't that what Tim Hortons and Dairy Queen are for?
well, that's way north. Like I mean, from what is that? The
Pulford?
water tower, Pulford. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All the way. The next closest one's in front of the retirement home, and the ambulance / fire hall.
Oh, the next garbage.
It's the next garbage on the east side of the road. So yeah, anyway,
Just if anyone's listening.
We'll give it a shot. So
Interesting.
yeah. So again, Canada Day, hooray! Good festivities, lots of celebration.
Yeah, Deputy Mayor Queen emailed me the list of events. Pretty impressive stuff.
And I think each year it just keeps ratcheting up, and with having modified years the last two because of COVID protocol, I think well deserved. Did you guys didn't go down to the Ford fireworks on Monday in Windsor?
We had talked about going and then decided against it at the last moment. But
Kind of the same thing. Just felt the crowds were maybe a bit too soon.
A lot of people.
Well, yeah.
A lot of people.
You were there.
We were. We had a day at Cedar Point. We took the kids to Cedar Point on Monday.
I
Nice.
see the point in that.
Gary's sleeping. Hey, honk, honk.
Nah,
It's
that one didn't
not
really
too late.
deserve it. Didn't
That's
deserve
fine.
it. Nah.
But yeah, no, we did that because before the summer crowds really start kicking in, we figured it'd be our best opportunity. We timed it so we could come back across right before the fireworks, and we were just at the end of California by the university,
Yep.
and there was a lot of people. You were significantly far away.
You're down.
You're way far away from the fireworks, and there was hundreds and hundreds of people.
How's the view down there?
Actually, not as bad as you think it was. You don't have the depth because you're kind of looking at them from the end perspective, per se, at the end of the barge, and it's quiet, which was weird. All the percussion from all the explosions, you don't feel them, and it's like,
Oh, that's interesting.
because I think the wind was blowing in the other direction. So, bit different, bit unique. I think last time Jen and I had gone and seen them down there was when she attended the university. So that was a few years ago.
Yeah, last time I was there, I covered them.
Yeah. But great show. It was 24 minutes long, and it was a little slightly delayed. Originally, it was supposed to kick off at 9:55. It ended up being about 11 after 10 when it started.
That's so. It used to always be
10:06.
yeah,
I was gonna say
10:12.
10:06,
Yeah,
Yeah. But it was,
WDIV are probably in control of that.
yeah.
yeah, it's
We're not ready on air yet.
ad placement. Go.
Devin
Go.
Cillian
Well, yeah,
is
they
not
can't-
ready.
Yeah.
No, you're right. They
The
can't start at
saxophone.
9:55 because they have to get their top of the hour commercial break in.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. They were probably like, I'm sorry, what time you starting? No. Unless they were going to air them on a tape delay.
Yeah, delay. But yeah, it was the big crowds, everybody having a great time. A little chilly because just, when the sun went down, it got a little bit
It was cool on Monday.
little
yeah.
cool. But otherwise, it was a great way to kind of kick off the summer and the holiday season. So, I think, and I'm going to knock very graciously on this wood, doesn't seem like there's going to be anything held back for the immediate future for any kind of events and plans, right? Open Streets starts Saturday. So, right around when this is going to air for Kingsville. Hogs for Hospice is coming up in a month. And
Sun Parlor Rodeo, I see the signs are up for that.
yeah, the rodeo. We just had Highland Games, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's beginning to kind of regain its former form and feeling. So, I'm sad that we can't talk about the specifics of the Canada Day events that the town of Kingsville puts on, but the list of all the events and everything that they have. If this by chance gets out beforehand and you got an opportunity, go.
Bouncy castles.
Bouncy
That's
castles.
Pony rides.
Pony rides. I heard word of a magician
I believe the cake was sponsored by OG Pizza as well. I believe they contributed the cake for this celebration, or the cupcakes or whatever have you. Ooh. So, and actually
pizza flavored.
Actually, did you see the promotion from the town of Kingsville?
I saw those girls.
Those couple of kids.
They were looking young, but I saw those girls.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
No, those were my kids. So yeah, they. I was asked if we could use that stock photo, and I gave permission. And
that was nice.
yeah, permission granted. Anytime that no problem. So anyway, you guys, Highland Games, right? Highland Games got off with a bang, and the kilt run and everything.
So again, we didn't go. You were there. Dave's the man about town.
He is.
Hey, everybody. What is that?
And it's not that we didn't want to go. It's just
sat at home in my backyard.
And you had Day of Champions for
Day
soccer.
of Champs for soccer.
Yeah.
By the time I was done, I was a little burnt and kind of had enough of the outdoors. So,
well, the event this year, because this is only the second time that they've had the Highland Games, correct?
Well, second time since the mid 80s, yes.
Correct. Yes, in its current format or form,
yes.
And with the changes to how they handled things with having licensing and a beer tent and all the different restaurateurs, right? A lot of the complaints after the first Highland Games were inability to get water, inability to get food.
There's a creek right there.
What are they complaining about?
There's a lake. Anyway, no, sorry, go ahead.
But they the hats off to that whole committee with the execution of how everything went down. We ended up mid-morning down there checking out all the different events and the dancing and whatnot, and that cultural event, because I'm going to call it cultural event. Mm-hmm. Everyone's Scottish that day,
right?
Even Mayor Santos. Right, which he's
the Portuguese Scottish guy, yeah.
Right? Exactly, yeah. He participated in the haggis toss, which wasn't haggis this year; it was a T-shirt. So
okay.
No haggises were harmed in the tossing of the.
Oh, so they didn't put the T-shirt in a sheep's stomach?
They should have. But it's a T-shirt.
Got to be in a sheep's stomach.
So would you say they killed it?
Oh,
okay, good.
Absolutely.
Everyone haggis a good time.
Any more?
Oh, they'll happen.
They'll happen. Yeah,
I'm a little sheepish right now, but
the sheep herding was great too. Again, there was more than enough that was happening all throughout the day that you roam around to see what was catching your eye at that time, and the kids loved the heavy throwing and the caber toss, and then there was the tent where all the dancing was happening, and the main parade grounds where the pipe and drum bands and the Kingsville pipe and drum band people that were trying to gain popularity or some traction on being able to form Kingsville's own pipe and drum band. They were down there, so saw lots of representation from all the local movers and shakers. All the politicians were politicianing. So,
well, it's that year.
It is that year. Oh my gosh, this summer's going to be so much fun.
The interesting part, and like you said, everyone was down there, and so not to be a naggy Nelly, but just so we're clear, the reason for having the Highland Games is for enjoyment of people of the town.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's being prefaced as something that's good for local business, it shouldn't be, because it doesn't bring business to the town. If anything, it actually takes it away from the town. And I'll tell you why. And maybe the town should consider this, but there's no in and out privileges. So you actually are.
Oh, there were.
But they don't leave. And if you drove through downtown, everyone was at the park, and that's not a bad thing. It was a very successful event, as it should be. Mm-hmm. But if I drove through Kingsville at 9:00 on Saturday night, and the restaurants and bars were dead.
Mm-hmm.
No one was out because everyone's down at the park. You drive through during the day, there's not as many vehicles or people milling about because everyone's down at the park.
I would even go to say that the current vacancies in the downtown core might also have something to do with that. And because have you noticed the amount of empty storefronts?
There's more. There's more.
There's more.
Well, no, I'm just saying there's more. There's more than there used to be.
Yeah,
the number is growing.
Yeah.
But
have I missed some? I don't know.
There's been a couple new ones. So,
but I'm not saying it to be down on the Highland Games. I think it's a fantastic event, and not everything needs to be good for business. But if you're a politician or you're a town official, don't promote it that way. Promote it as a great thing that for residents to come out and enjoy. Don't promote it as a great thing for local businesses.
Yeah, no, it's more along the lines as to cast light on the town of Kingsville and attract people to come to Kingsville, whether or not it's gonna have its benefits and it's gonna have its detractors, of course. Because you're right, like the main focus is go attend this event so that we can continue to keep it going in perpetuity because of attendance and whatnot. And I think they said that they had over 5,500 people attend this year. After the main, excuse me, guys. After the main events took place, we went back. We left mid-afternoon because it was warm. We cooled off a little bit. Went back for some music around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and there were still maybe 600-700 people down there watching the music, and it slowly filtered out as the acts went on. But because they had food and a beer tent, there was more of a reason to stay and take in whatever entertainment that they'd provided. So, the 86th Catering, they had their food tent right beside the beer tent, which was represented by all three breweries. The Kingsville Brewery and the Grove and the Banded Goose all had their own taps.
Three breweries then.
3 of the 4, correct. Yeah. So I apologize, Kyron. Top dog next year, right? Next year. Anyway. I think it went over extremely well, and it was great to see that. Hey, the first major event back, kind of went out, really, really well. So, we'll see what the Greenway Jam has in store for us, because that's the next major town event that we have in August. So, through July, it's just all of our open streets Saturdays.
Good old open streets.
Good old open streets. So. Yeah, no, Day of Champions went well, Stephen.
Day of Champs did go well. And actually, it's interesting because I have a little bit more direct contact with soccer. I'm not on the board anymore, so I can't speak to how, hockey went kind of restarting. But I really have to give kudos to Rob and Lori Taylor, who really spearheaded the program again, along with a very small board this year. But they had... I don't know if it was a record number of registrants this year, but obviously kids just wanted to get back doing things. Parents, guardians wanted their kids.
Parents,
get them out of the house.
But here's, right. And it's an affordable opportunity to play. I know there were some hiccups, especially in one age division. And, I think in part COVID you kind of forget how to relate and act at times, when you're not around people regularly, but it was fun to be out officiating again, for the most part. Again, there's always
always hiccups,
but no,
it was good.
They really did a good job. Travel season is now going to run through July and August. I know minor baseball's really doing well. Speaking of Day of Champs, there's I don't know how many baseball games going on at the same time as Day of Champs started, but it was, in a way, fantastic to see, like the number of people, the number of vehicles. Just, I had to park basically close to Jasperson in the arena parking lot.
Jasperson 1 or 2?
Oh,
Old Jasperson?
New Jasperson. Sorry, New Jasperson.
Let's finish this, because I do want to talk about that, because what is it?
No, I was just going to say, so I had to park there, and I had a brief break in between officiating, and I thought by the end of the day, I'm not going to want to walk all that way to my car. I went and got my car, drove it all the way around.
Convenience.
Absolutely. But again, kudos to everyone involved who made this season a success.
So the baseball teams that were playing were, lucky that they didn't have soccer players on them.
Oh, some did.
Right. And so my daughter's is a good example, and it's difficult because the coaches are planning these games like weeks and months in advance. But they ended up having to forfeit they had a doubleheader. They ended up having to forfeit because the kids couldn't make it because they were playing soccer.
And yeah, there was some other conflicts too in the week because, soccer plays the Timbits play Wednesdays, but all the other leagues play Tuesdays, Thursdays. And this last week, graduations.
Oh yeah.
So you had, I think it was it
Kingsville
KPS on
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Jack Minor Wednesday, St. John on Thursday.
Yeah.
So Wednesday wasn't bad, but Tuesday, Thursday, there was a great impact. But yeah, there was a young lady on my daughter's baseball team who is also a soccer official. So she stepped away from baseball for that game. However, they still were able to field a almost full lineup. But
It's tough when they overlap.
Yeah.
Summer sports.
Yeah.
And some aren't.
Oh!
It's not nice talking about soccer like that.
People would argue about golf that way too. It's really a sport. Anyway.
I meant good sport, bad sport, actually.
Yes. Ooh.
So
Jasperson?
what have they decided? Was there a plan for this?
Oh, I highly doubt it. Right.
Like what is it? Is it a driveway? Is it a road?
Well, it was always
Has to be a
always
road, just a
Jasperson
house.
Lane.
Yeah.
And there is two addresses on that part of Jasperson.
The arena and then that one house.
The home, yeah. So
So at the S bend it always changed from Jasperson Drive to Lane?
no, I don't know when it changed to drive. I just remember it years ago as Jasperson Lane. That's what it was.
Okay.
So there's no addresses on the new part. So I don't think any addresses have changed. But I'm sure I haven't delivered this route recently. But you're gonna have to probably pull into the arena, deliver the mail, drive down the street to that house, and then off you go to the next place.
Well,
But-
and it's kind of created some traffic issues in the arena as well.
Yeah.
yes.
Because even for myself, all of us, like where we live, why would you go all the way up to Road 2 when you can just cut through the arena?
To be safety conscious, and I'm not. Here's and I'm not
But
trying
I'm not
to.
that person.
Well, here's the thing. So my daughter would play at 6:30 and she'd have to be there at 6. And I know it's not very busy yet. So I would actually go through the arena carefully, snake my way through and park. But when I'm leaving and there's absolute,
Bedlam.
yeah, sure, people coming from all directions, then yeah, I'm happy to go. Like, I'm in a car. I'm happy to go up to Road 2, make a left turn, and then make a left turn onto Jasperson to go home. It's not that big of an issue. But for people maybe like your son, though. But for some people,
when we go, I park in the arena on purpose now.
okay.
Like we'll walk across the road to because then you can get the fast getaway. But I think when they designed that arena parking lot, they never properly designed it because you can't have two-way traffic in the small lanes.
Well, it was never like all the municipal works building is at the back of that lot, right? They never anticipated it being
used. Yeah. And now they've created a bit of a traffic issue.
They have, but I think it's an easy fix in a way. I mean, basically, when they laid out the arena parking lot, it was done likely without envisioning that road going in.
Yeah.
It was always talked about, but who knows when it was. So simply, when it's time to repave the parking lot, then simply, you've got maybe one-way traffic coming in on the right side. You can only go sort of in the direction of the baseball diamonds, and you can only come one way out.
I'm sure they'll fix it.
Or they just realign it differently.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll fix it as soon as, it's just a matter of they needed the accessibility because of the project with the school build. So
honestly, I have nothing but faith that the town of Kingsville will get it fixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually.
Hey, they put in garbage cans after we, you're one major request and it happened. So I got no complaints here.
Send us your list, people.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do for you.
Division North from Pulford to
just don't email it in.
McCallum. Yeah, don't. Yeah, you may get a ticket, you may not.
Yeah, you'll get a ticket number. They'll go into the ether.
Yes. Have you guys heard the hubbub about the recent demolition of the building down by the marina or down by the docks?
I
received a phone call from a nearby individual.
Oh yes,
yeah,
and
caught off guard.
You were caught off guard?
No, this person was caught off guard
of it happening.
Yes.
Yeah, I also received some, slightly unsolicited conversation about this and whatnot and how I felt about this happening.
How do you feel about it happening?
Well, it was condemned, so yeah, unless anybody wanted to pony up and rebuild it to make it structurally sound, then it needs to be taken down.
My understanding, that engineer report was $6 million so it wasn't condemned anymore.
$6 million to bring it up to current
specs.
Yeah. You know what? Facades can be matched. If we really want the same style, if the builder wants to take care of that, but at $6 million, that you're never going to recoup that for what that building was.
No. And that's because it's a heritage designation.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just go, and this is why it's so expensive. You can't just go and do work. Like you have to do it in a certain way, in a certain style.
Yep.
Like there has to be engineering reports, for the fixes, because like there's foundation cracks, there's like cracks in the side of the building. It's the floors, from my understanding, is there's like holes in the floor. Like it's not in shape.
Are you guys aware what's happening in downtown Harrow right now?
Yeah.
So the old antique building, right, that was demolished because of its structural integrity. Yeah, it came down about a month ago.
I don't go anywhere.
Well, apparently you haven't delivered in Harrow all that often.
Well, we don't.
Right, it's just a mailbox. I get it. I was joking. Anyway, yeah, but the same idea. That it was a couple 100-year-old building that was significant in the middle of town. It's right at the T.
Yeah.
And yet they have a different perspective on how they view that demolition and revitalization, because the building that is being proposed to be rebuilt there will add things that Harrow downtown needs in order to continue their growth and their reemergence. Yet, a building that's been vacant for as long as I can remember. And I am 42 years old, and I have lived in Kingsville since 1990. What was it, Gary? What was that building?
It was the power plant.
No, I know it. Yeah, I know it was. But, from the 80s on, it's not been anything. Great.
Well, it was never anything. It held power generation.
Yeah, that's getting to my point. It's a matter of it served a purpose, and it was never repurposed in the time from then to now.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful building, because brick buildings are beautiful, right? There's ornate construction and whatnot. And I would have loved to seen at a certain point in time, somebody be able to invest in it to make it utilized for something else, right? There was talk that it was going to be a brewery, and then there was a hotel. This was a few years ago before COVID. But if it's $6 million.
Yeah. Well, and I think that a lot of it is remorse because they lost the buildings that actually did matter. Like that building isn't the one that mattered. It's the casino. It's the hotel.
Yeah, the hotel.
Even the bathhouse. Like those ones were the buildings that mattered, and the town let them get demolished, and they weren't kept up, and for lots of reasons,
many,
and probably rightly so, but this isn't the building to try and save. And especially not where it's located.
If our waterfront was developed in the harbor, if we had more of an established tourism / commercial / whatever port, rather than it just being a commercial port, then I would have been fully behind an initiative in order to make sure that it was a fixture or that utilization was appropriate for that position. But we don't have an economic core in that area.
No. Wouldn't you go to a seafood restaurant there, though?
I would love. When the brewery opened up next door, it was like perfect. Now we can, you can have a shouldering business that maybe it might be something there. Kingsville Brewery's got the beer garden, and it's fantastic. You can just look at the stone hills and see the seagulls. It's great. It's atmosphere. Maybe something else will be able to expand eastward, and no, unfortunately not. But I would if you could say that the town had $6 million budget approved in order to do one of two things. A, we can buy that building and revitalize it and create it for something as a town funded a project, or purchase the high school in Kingsville Public and revitalize those two areas. I would say tear that building down. That high school and that elementary school will do thousands and thousands and thousands of better things for the town than that one.
Especially when they've already pumped over $4 million into a nearby building.
Which one?
They had all the lights on in that building the other day. It was just
What?
It was just a magnet for.
I'm sorry.
Well, they wanted all the fish flies to go there.
Were
and
they
keep them
just uselessly burning hydro?
Yes, it was during. Actually, it was during the Highland Games. We drove by at 10 o'clock at night, and all the lights were on, attracting all the
so
fish
that it was
flies.
Highlight Games.
Oh.
We said that they were trying to divert them from the park and like sway them all towards that building.
I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
But it would probably exceed the attendance cap for that building with all those. Anyway,
Something fishy going on.
Well, the good thing is the buzzing would sound fantastic. Oh, wait, they haven't done that yet.
I haven't done the acoustics yet. Oh, gentlemen, have you seen the candidacy updates? We have
new name
we have
for
a school
trustee.
board trustee candidate.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you get it? You didn't get it.
I did. I had to deal with something, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the only.
I did look it up earlier too. I didn't recognize.
Oh no!
We have a disaster on air.
Thank God.
Oh, no.
It's not on the board. So yeah, we got a new school board trustee.
Candidate David Adam Keller is
David
the name
Adam
registered
Keller.
on. Yes.
All right, well, that's some progress. But the biggest news, I think, over the last couple of weeks was Mayor Santos announcing that he's stepping down and he's accepted a position as a CAO in a community north of Toronto, which I cannot. Agila, Toronto. Nobody can pronounce it.
Tozaronto?
Toes. Or
It's near New Tecumseth.
yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, absolutely. Now, small community, again, 50,000, whatnot. Alliston is a kind of an anchor town in that area.
In the area, yeah.
Great opportunity for Mayor Santos. And we're hoping next episode to feature Mayor Santos and discuss his accomplishments and, time served through the community over the last almost 3 decades.
25 years.
25
years on council. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
It's a lot.
We can just call him Nelson after the 16th too.
I can.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't have to call him Mayor Santos anymore. Although he was what?
That was the 17th.
Yeah,
Was it
17th.
16th? 17th.
17th. Okay.
Yeah, that's the official.
Yeah.
The official day.
So
His last day is the 16th. Is that?
correct.
That's what. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So interesting. Now the election here municipally gets a whole lot more interesting. So
Yeah.
we'll be news you can use here and that Kingsville podcast. We'll update you with any developments from any candidates that have announced and whatnot.
So what do you think? What are the guts saying? What do we think? I'm thinking we're going to see at least one incumbent that hasn't filed yet file for mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a pretty obvious statement as to who you're thinking about. However,
Who, Larry?
no, Larry's already filed.
Did
you
he
said
already
that hasn't filed.
Oh,
So there's only one.
There's only one.
incumbent that hasn't
I'm
filed.
pretty sure Larry's running specifically for mayor of Cottam.
Well,
Yeah,
Larry
he has
and Laura and Thomas
Yeah.
and Gord
and
and
Kim.
Kim have all filed.
Yeah.
Oh,
And Nelson's stepping away.
so
So
there's
the only other incumbent,
there's only one.
Yeah.
He's got to run, right? Tony's like Tony Gaffin, obviously.
Yeah. I would think.
I would think he does. I don't know. I haven't spoken with him at
No,
all.
I haven't
about it.
spoken with him either.
Well,
But
I mean, I've got this whole. I don't want to share necessarily the public what I think could happen, but that's definitely a possibility.
I'm sorry, what?
There's also the possibility that someone who has filed may decide to
Unfile?
retract their name from a position
Yeah.
Disfile?
and
Yep.
run for another position. That's a possibility. Because you take a major player like Nelson
Yeah.
out of the equation, or as he has done, take himself out of the equation. I don't want to say it's open season. Like, this is you're looking to replace someone who's been the mayor of this town for 19 years.
19 years.
Yeah.
It's going to take someone special. It's not just going to, I can't walk in there and just say I'm going to be mayor.
Mm-mm.
He's beaten a lot of credible candidates over the years too. There was one year when there were 4 candidates. 2 at the time were serving on the council with him, and it was a close race, but he finished on top of the pile.
Yeah.
I think at the same time, there's people who are going to look at it and say, you know what, this is my chance. Maybe someone who has been a member of council in the past but isn't currently. Maybe someone who has run as a candidate before, hasn't seen the success they hoped, but made a good pitch for themselves.
Yeah.
Or someone who, and I don't know if there's really anyone who lives in town, but someone who's represented other levels of government. And that's, I'm just thinking somebody along the line of Taras and maybe in Lakeshore.
Audrey lives in Kingsville, and she's run
federal or provincially.
No, federally.
Federally, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is. I agree.
Provincially. Her daughter ran federally.
Yeah.
Kate ran against Chris Lewis.
No, she was provincially.
She was provincially because she went up against Chris.
Yes.
No, Chris. Not Chris. Taras. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, because Chris is federal.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway.
Well, and Chris ran provincially too.
Right. But not this. Anyway, moving on. It'll be interesting to see what happens because now, the expectation that, Nelson he'll run eventually and, it'll be Nelson versus whichever candidate and Tamara, to see who ends up winning the mayoral race this year. Removing Nelson, and again, he's done as his press release has described. These are decisions that he's making for his family, which you can't discredit the person. The man's given 25 years of his personal time in order to serve the community and whatnot.
That's about half his life.
That is about half his life. Yeah.
Like in politics, it's quite remarkable.
It's long. I remember. Well, obviously, Steve, you were there closer than I was, but I remember that election. It was my first municipal election here in 2003, and it was him and Eddie Francis both were elected in the same election, and they were the youngest mayors in both of their towns' histories.
Yeah.
It was that year. It was pretty remarkable to see the way that it started to change to like a real change of the guard,
Yeah, and he did it in a way that, he didn't just kind of jump in with both feet. He did a term as a councillor, he did a term as deputy mayor, and then, he went and won the mayorship, and he served as warden for 4 years of Essex County.
Deputy
a couple times.
He is the current deputy warden.
Yeah.
So he's certainly put the time and the effort, and
we'll go down his laundry list of accomplishments and how how he served and whatnot. I'm more so because he's not here today. We can discuss and speculate and whatnot,
right,
about what's going to happen with him not here, which is something we haven't had in 19 years.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. It's like,
and I'm not saying that to discredit any candidates, but again, the knowledge and the wherewithal and the sort of the strategic acumen, is that?
Yeah. You could call it. And his presence, right? Like Nelson came with the ability to get an audience with certain groups or certain, provincial representation or federal representation because of his time served and his conduct throughout that period, right? He was on the phone with the premier through COVID trying to, because of all of the migrant worker and us being in lockdown longer than anyone else in the country kind of thing. So, he's served his community, and, we've had some scandals going through Kingsville with Mr. Kistner and, whatnot. And, he's survived things like that. And being able to have that experience in a position that he served in, I think we're going to lose a major part of something that can help through the challenges as we face them from here on in.
There is a benefit to having new perspective, but the downfall you have with new perspective, especially in a mayor's role, is that, and Steve, you can speak to it too, it generally takes a newly elected mayor a couple years to kind of get their feet under them and understand, how to do the job, how that interaction between staff and mayor works, how the interaction between CAO and mayor works. A lot of people on the outside, before they're actually sitting in that chair and signing those checks and bylaws, don't have an understanding of what the actual role of a mayor is, because you don't have a vote. If you want to have a say on something that's happening, you're better to be a councillor, because councillors vote on everything.
Yep. Mayors
just break ties.
Yep.
You know, and so it's the people that, and I have a feeling now I think we're going to see a few candidates, and I think we're going to see some people that are going to be the protest candidate, the ones that think that they have an issue, I don't want to say agenda, because it's not an agenda. They have an issue or a cause that's important to them, and likely rightly so, but not understanding the full depth of what that role truly is.
Yeah, right. Like I would have assumed by this point in the season, let's call it a candidacy season, you would have seen somebody who really objected toward the development at the medical center on Main Street and the other condo development to the west of the high school. And, you know, the other proposals and, you know, tearing down this building and whatnot. Like, I would have expected, oh man, I got a frog in my throat today. I would have expected to see a candidate stand on that platform and basically say, you know, I'm going to protect Kingsville for its heritage and, you know, run on that by now, because there's been so many other different newsworthy things that have come about over the last month and a half, right? You know, the continued phases of development at the one just the other side of the high school, right? You know, the other couple of buildings.
Yeah.
There's still that pause on development in that area, but still that's a proposed continued development. So
just going back to, you know, what we maybe want to see in a candidate, or what you need to see in a candidate. And I think one thing Nelson had in abundance was sort of that diplomacy. He didn't walk into a room and say, I'm the mayor, I'm in charge here, we're going to do it this way. Everyone had an opportunity, you know, and you know, there's always going to be people who are going to accuse any member of any government of having their own agenda, if you will. But you don't get into politics without trying to make change and trying to enact change that you believe in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you give everyone else the opportunity to put in their ideas and their thoughts and their 2 cents. And then you decide, okay, you know what? I never looked at it that way. Maybe we can find some compromise, or I'm wrong. And I think he could also do that. He could say, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong on this one. Let's look at it from a different angle. So
we can't be naive too. There was going to come an end to his mayorship, right? You know,
in
eventually
20, 30 years, maybe. But
he's always our mayor. But right, like, we have to understand he's a human. He does have priorities and a family and things that he has to take care of, and his own personal comfort level with continuing to do that role and responsibility. 25 years to dedicate towards serving the public in that function. It's a long time.
So we should talk about what happens in the short term.
Yeah. So everybody's name from town goes in a hopper, like a bingo hopper.
Yeah.
Right. And then they just pull a name and they're like, Steve Ianson.
You're the new mayor.
Like hell.
So there was
Gary Glass. You're the new mayor. Come on down.
Your parking space is waiting for you.
They gave that to the veterans.
Oh yeah. So there was a report went to council, laying out what the options are. There are, surprisingly, and people would think that there's like some set way to do this. There's not.
No, there's not. No.
There's an abundance of options that could happen. So to go through them, there is first, the mayorship could just remain vacant.
Yes.
And remember, gets a little more complicated because it's an election year. If this happened a year ago, 2 years ago, the options still are there, but likely you're just doing a runoff. Like likely you're probably doing a council runoff of some sort. But here, you can leave the mayor open. So then the deputy mayor serves as mayor, because the deputy mayor would automatically just chairs all of the meetings that the mayor would normally chair if they're absent. The deputy mayor in the procedural bylaw automatically assumes all of the mayor's roles if the mayor is absent. So you can just easily leave it vacant. You can appoint the deputy mayor to mayor.
Yep.
And then appoint the top vote-getting councillor to deputy mayor.
Which would be Tony, I believe.
Which would be Tony.
Yep.
And then you can appoint or nominate a councillor to replace the vacant council seat.
Yeah.
From the previous candidates or just from like the voter roll?
You could do both. You can have an open call for nominations.
Okay.
Like you and there's no requirement to have a public vote on that. So you could either
I'm reading ahead. I pulled it up. I'm reading ahead because
so you could nominate from the previous candidates. Normally, you would take the next highest vote getter.
So that would be Barry Wilson. Yep.
Because he was
after Barry.
Who? That guy.
I don't know who that is.
That guy.
Anyway,
that's why I was reading ahead.
Sorry to cut you off.
Or you could have an open nomination either, and the council could choose from the previous council candidates or just in general.
Yeah.
That is not going to happen. I think wholeheartedly, because we're so close to an election, they may shuffle the deck so that Gord goes to mayor, Tony goes to deputy, but I think they're leaving leaving something open.
Like we were talking years before the next election. Yeah, they would have to fill that. Like even 8 months, right? Like there's significant things that will come to council that need deciding deliberation.
So as you noted, the mayoral seat becomes vacant on the 17th of July. What's the deadline for candidacy?
August 19th. August 19th.
So a month.
Right.
You know, not a month to the election, but you're looking at a
lame duck status.
4 weeks, basically.
Right.
In between.
Which, you know what, it's a whole lot of ado for really, there's nothing that I'm aware of, at least. You know, we got the customer service survey that got accomplished and, you know, is now being handled with administration for suggestions for budgetary implications, and then the temporary foreign worker housing deliberation and passing. Like that was the last significant, at least council agenda'd newsworthy things that they really had to come to some sort of conclusion to before the election.
Don't you think though? Because we talked about this briefly when we had our show meeting, and I said that if it ever came that they were doing an open call for nominations, I would never put my name forward. So I got thinking about it after. Yes. Wouldn't it kind of be fun?
For 3 months, yeah.
To just, not even, for like a month. Yeah. Just like, and at the very first meeting, here's the 75 notices of motion that I have. I want to see this report, and I want to see this report, and I want answers on this, and I want to know why this wasn't made public. Like, would that just like for fun? Hey, can I see like
He has just eliminated any shot he had at getting the call.
Can I see a recent feasibility study of the Grovedale? like, hey, do you think that we could see like the total number of Kingsville Works service calls and the ones that actually ended in being resolved?
And the tickets? And how many tickets that are outstanding?
How many outstanding tickets?
And how does Jasperson get 4 trash cans almost immediately?
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen?
Like, who makes those decisions? Wouldn't that be like...
You'd be drunk with power.
Oh, like just... Here's my list of demands.
Yeah. Drunk with power.
It would be a blast.
They are not calling Kevin.
Oh God. You see,
they never were.
See, if it weren't the summer and, you know, summer schedule and travel and whatnot, I'd be like, you know what, you know, let's put those shoes on for a little while.
Give her a roll.
Yeah, but no. You get there and everybody's like, oh, hey, well, where's Dave or, you know, Kevin again? Like, we want short meetings. We're, you know, it's summertime. We don't really want to get into anything.
I want answers
now, and you have no intention of running in the fall.
and you publicly post every closed door meeting agenda, like let me just share it on social.
Oh,
so much fun. Just so much fun.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be exciting because right now in the current state of what's happening with Nelson leaving and everything kind of being up in the air and candidacy still being open for what 6 weeks?
Yeah.
7 weeks.
Like I say, I said it last episode. I am surprised that there are no new names yet, with 6 weeks until the deadline. And I know we had this debate, but every time a week goes by, or an episode goes by, and there's no one new.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if the next time we record, there's still no one new. I would say mid-July is when I would, if I'm the town, starting to throw up some red flags, because I don't even think they have enough counselors for.
They don't. And then all it would take is 2 people to put their names in.
Right.
Last minute.
Yep.
And they're acclaimed.
Yeah.
We have one race right now.
Mm-hmm. It's still hearing the rumblings of individuals in the community that are intending to run. However, until you file that paper, it's not real.
It's not a thing.
Yeah. Like I can say that I'm a millionaire, and you want to look at my bank account, it does not represent that, but I can tell you I'm a millionaire. But yeah, it's one of those things that I think everybody has good intentions and everybody wants to do that. But now, just as you said earlier, with Nelson being out of the picture, it creates a whole new level of uncertainty of how things are going to play out.
And Nelson was an umbrella to take a lot of that workload away.
You betcha.
And it's going to be work now.
And I think
it's going to be work.
I think the municipal staff is going to feel it as well because of just what he was able to accomplish with his connections and how he handled his duties,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I think who will really benefit from this though are the incumbents. When you are, if I'm an incumbent and I'm, especially running for a council seat, you've already got a leg up because you're there to start with.
Mm-hmm.
But people are going to look at it and say, "Oh my gosh, we're losing this much experience. We need these people back."
Yep.
So those 3,
and you've got 4 incumbents now that have served multiple terms, right? Gord, Tony, Thomas, and Larry.
Yes.
Right. So those 4 individuals now are the seasoned individuals, right? So
right.
We'll see if Tony actually does throw his name in.
But Larry's running for mayor of Cotton when they secede, right?
I thought that was Shad, right? Shad from Cotton. I thought he was the mayor.
Shad is the mayor of Cotton.
I thought he was the mayor. Well, so is it Larry and him?
Deputy. Larry's deputy.
Deputy.
Yeah.
Shad's the mayor.
Shad's such a good guy.
Shad's the mayor. Yeah. Anyhow,
the bank's the town hall.
Have you? I went. So there's another thing. I went to the bar in.
Holy, you get around, man!
I'm man on the scene. Hey, I'm in the community.
When does he sleep? When does he?
Really?
Because I got a lot of free time. Right. I got a lot of free time. Anyway,
how is the bank?
Fantastic.
Did you make a deposit?
I made some withdrawals though. Actually, a really appropriate facility and establishment for that community, and then that's what we were discussing because friends of ours live in Cotton, and we walked from their house, and it's like, yeah. This is something that I've been able to take advantage of living in Kingsville for, eternity, because you can walk uptown and go to any of the restaurants and bars and whatnot and have a social community area or a communal area and then walk home. And now they can as well. And I think their community is really starting to embrace that kind of an opportunity as well. And it looks like that.
And they stumble a lot more.
It looks like they're adding to the building as well to put a patio on the side of the building and, offer a little bit more of a, immersive experience kind of thing. So, yeah. Where else did I go? What else have I done? Catch me at Open Streets on Saturday. Jim Crichton was the MC of the Highland Games. I missed hearing his voice. I would have went just for Jim. Jim Crichton, consummate professional. Missed hearing that.
Hey. Did he have his hat on? Jim always wears epic hats.
I don't think he did.
Really?
I wasn't really focused on his head, though.
Have you seen Jim out and about? Just like epic, like Stetson style hats.
He does. Yes, he does. He does have the Stetsons and the 5 and 10 gallons and whatnot.
Oh,
he had a tam one year. I was wearing a tam o'shanter. Yeah. Tam o'shanter?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I'm not Scottish. As much as my sister thinks we're Scottish, we're Irish. Anyway.
It's different.
Irish you weren't.
Well,
Is that it?
That's it,
I
gentlemen.
don't know.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
not
done.
much
I've had
else.
enough.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It's hot out.
Yeah, we were hoping to have this be the Nelson episode, but unfortunately fell ill. So next episode, we're hoping to have Nelson, and we'll go through the full retrospective of his career and whatnot, and how he feels that
Nelson Santos. This
is
your life.
This is. Can we get the theme music to that? Yes. This your life and times. Nelson Santos was born. Blah blah blah.
If we can get David Attenborough to narrate, then we're set.
Yeah, I can't do Attenborough's accent, but no. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully, we'll be able to have
David
that.
Richard.
David Attenborough. David Attenborough.
Was he the one that did the A&E biographies?
He was a nature guy.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh, Stephen, you're
Like
British.
Hinterland Who's Who?
Radio for one, and it's not even radio. Thanks for joining us on this episode of That Kingsville Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us, please, and thank you. Even if you don't listen, just subscribe. It helps metrics, and we're trying. We're really trying hard.
If you heard any of this,
Just trying. If
throw
you-
us a bone.
Please. We do accept donations. Hopefully, we'll give you guys a bit more of a summer outlook, and then in the fall with the Meet the Candidates. So that's something that we haven't really talked about, but we're hoping to do something with the candidates as well. So
Maybe if there are.
if there are any. If there's not, we'll just be like, hey,
just put Gordon and Kim in a room and
well, yeah. At
See who
this
makes
point.
it out.
Yeah. Ding ding. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time.